In his 2002 memoir, West of Kabul, East of New York, Afghan-American author Tamim Ansary reflects on his journey to reconcile the two often conflicting cultures that shaped his identity, leading him to view himself as a split soul. Born in Afghanistan in 1948 to an Afghan father and a Finnish-American mother, Ansary moved to the United States in 1964. Throughout his memoir, Ansary speaks in a conversational, compassionate tone, exploring the differences between Eastern and Western culture, religion, and politics. West of Kabul, East of New York serves as both a way for Ansary to bridge the internal divide within himself and a means to foster a deeper understanding of the Muslim world for an increasingly Islamophobic West. He concludes that, like himself, Afghanistan is a kaleidoscope of parts, as is the world when you look closely. In the prologue to his memoir, Ansary recounts his emotions on September 12, 2001, the day after the terrorist attacks on the U.S. World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Hearing angry radio hosts and callers demanding violent retaliation against Afghanistan for the Taliban's role in the attacks, Ansary feels compelled to write an email. Initially sent to just 20 friends, the message goes viral within a week, reaching tens of millions. In it, Ansary writes, "I speak as one who hates the Taliban and Osama bin Laden, but the Taliban and bin Laden are not Afghanistan." He describes the Taliban as a cult of ignorant psychotics and compares bin Laden to Hitler, while pointing out that the people of Afghanistan are suffering, impoverished by years of war with the Soviets and now overwhelmed by global criminals. Ansary's message sparks an outpouring of calls, messages, and media requests from people he hasn't heard from in years, as well as shows like Oprah and World News Tonight. The Afghan Northern Alliance even reaches out, asking Ansary to be a spokesperson for Afghanistan. This causes Ansary to question his identity. American? Afghan? Reflecting on his roots, he remembers his mother as the first American woman to marry an Afghan and live in Afghanistan, while his father was a university professor in Kabul with deep ancestral ties to a nearby village. Ansary himself left Afghanistan to finish high school in the U.S., attending Reed College in Oregon, and later moving to San Francisco, where he became a journalist, editor, and writer. As Ansary struggles to reconcile his upbringing in Afghanistan with his adult life in the U.S., he realizes that his personal experiences with Afghanistan, Islam, and extremism make him uniquely qualified to speak on these issues. He uses his newfound fame to advocate for diversity and shared humanity, offering a message of understanding in a time of division. Part 1, The Lost World, explores Ansary's family history and his childhood in Afghanistan. He reflects on how the family compound holds deep significance, highlighting a key cultural difference between the East and the West. While the West tends to perceive life in the East as being divided along gender lines, Ansary explains that the true division is between the public and private spheres. The family compound represents the private world of Afghans, a space seldom seen by Westerners. Inside the compound, even family members have different names, and the sense of community is strong. In this environment, the family, or clan as Ansary calls it, finds comfort in togetherness. This contrasts sharply with the Western perspective, where people tend to seek solitude and time alone to recharge. In the second section, Looking for Islam, Ansary shares his travels through the Middle East. His journey is largely motivated by his younger brother, Riaz, who has embraced Orthodox Islam, an approach that Ansary struggles to understand. For Ansary, the practices of Orthodox Islam seem overly austere and extreme. He believes in the philosophy that, no matter how sure you are, you might be wrong, and rejects the idea of a personal God, instead embracing secular mysticism. As he seeks a deeper understanding of Islam and Riaz's conversion, Ansary begins his travels in late 1979, just as the Soviets invade Afghanistan. He visits Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and Turkey, but never returns to Afghanistan. In his quest to explore Islam, Ansary is instead confronted with the rise of Islamic militancy and fundamentalism, an ideology far removed from the faith of his upbringing. In the final section, Forgetting Afghanistan, Ansary reflects on how, despite his Americanization, his Afghan roots remain deeply ingrained in his soul. He notes that he, Riaz, and his older sister Rebecca all navigated their bicultural lives in different ways. Growing up bicultural is like straddling a crack in the earth, Ansary writes. If the cultures are far apart, like those of Afghanistan and America, you feel an urge to choose one side or the other. Each sibling responded differently to this internal divide. Rebecca turned away from her Afghan heritage, while Riaz became radicalized, leading to a rift between him and Ansary. Ansary, however, has managed to honor both his Afghan culture and his American lifestyle. He continues to speak Farsi and write about Afghanistan. Ultimately, Ansary concludes that embracing diversity is likely the only path to unity in a fragmented world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.